Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Got the D-Man here, and I'm glad you could join me today. Today's topic is going to be a continuation of imagination. I know I talk a lot about imagination, but everything begins within you. Some people think it's foolishness, and I don't really understand how they can, think it's foolishness because obviously, everything begins with a thought. So a thought creates an image, or at least it does in my mind and the minds of most people I think about. So if you control your thoughts and your images, then you control your actions. And if you control your actions, then you have some control over what you create in your life. And most people that think this is foolishness are men of great action. And what they talk about is that people that believe in imagining or creating reality by your thoughts is that they think they can just sit there on the couch and image something and it will come to pass. There may be people that can do that, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about imagining what you want, what you desire, and then take action on intuitive thoughts or urges that come to you. These nudges from the universe, God, if you like, or wherever you think they come from your higher self, and then you take action on these. Okay, I'm a man of action. I get up in the morning about 5:30, something like that. Sometimes 6:30, and I am busy all day. Some people may look at me and say, God, he works so hard. But for me, it's not really hard work because I love what I do. I'm busy until I go to bed at night. Occasionally I watch a series, but I'm not much for TV. I'm usually reading, studying, meditating, or writing, or working. So I do believe in action. I'm not saying you can just sit on the couch and wait for the check to come, unless you've done something and you've provided value to the world. But one of my favorite authors is Neville Goddard. And some of the things he talks about, I really don't understand. But I've read some of his books over and over again many times. And I really appreciate his writings, and I'm going to share a little bit here out of his book, Imagining Creates Reality. I think that's what this one's out of. I can't read the whole book on the air without the permission, but I can read just a little bit of it. When man solves the mystery of imagining, he will have discovered the secret of causation. It's like I said, imagining seeing these things as you desire, or if you see these things you don't desire, your fears, they will come to pass also. Now, I'm not talking about if you just think of something once that it's going to come to pass, but your dominant thinking day in and day out. I think they've done studies, I know they have, and they say that people have somewhere around 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day, okay, on the average. But most people continue to think the same things over and over again, and they wonder why their life doesn't change. One of the definitions of insanity is doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results, whether it's your thinking or your actions. You cannot continue to do the same thing over and over again every day and expect a different result. So how do you get new thoughts into your head? Well, if you get up and watch CNN every morning or watch the news, whatever, Fox News or whatever you like, you do that every morning, you're going to continue to put the same fears into your head, into your mind. You're going to think about those things. That's something that you would be dominantly thinking about at least for a half an hour every day. Now, if you were able to let that go when you left, that's one thing. Or if you're watching the favorite crime drama every day and thinking about that. You have to start to put different ideas into your mind to have different thoughts. Reading is very important. Many people don't read. Reading is like exercising your brain. Your brain is a muscle. Your mind is similar to a muscle, although we don't really know what mind is. Mind is not the fleshy matter of your brain. It's something, well, it's something we say is within your brain, but we don't even know if that's true. The mind is somehow a part of us, but it may not even be part of us. Many people talk of universal mind, that we're all connected to one universal mind. I think Einstein talked about that. Many of the great inventors say that their greatest breakthroughs and their inventions came from somewhere where they didn't really understand. It like came out of thin air. It wasn't like they figured it out. It was given to them from a higher power, universal power, whatever. Now, we can accomplish things with our rational, conscious mind. It has its place, of course. But the great ideas, the great visions, the great things that have come to pass by a power or a mind or universal mind, some people called it. That's where these things come from. God, some people say. But you can tap into this universal mind. But you can't do it with your conscious mind. But your conscious mind has its place. Just as I have said before, going to the gym and lifting weights every day will build muscles. Okay, in the same way, your conscious mind can program your subconscious mind. If you use affirmations over and over again, many people say they don't work. Well, do you work them? It works if you work it. Have you ever heard that one? Okay, you can't do affirmations for one day and think, well, they didn't work, or even 1 week or 1 month. Who you are today, what you are today, has come about by years and years of programming. How about your inner conversations? What do you say to yourself when you're displeased with yourself? Do you call yourself stupid? Many people do. Some people say things like they can't believe they're so dumb, or they made the same stupid mistake over again. How many times have they done that? It's amazing how people talk to themselves. You may hear them say it out loud once in a while, but how many times do they say it to themselves within themselves? These inner conversations direct and control your life, the dominant ones. Like I said, if you watch a program on TV, a car crash, and that doesn't mean you're going to go out and have a car crash because you think about it for an hour or two, how horrible it was. But if you continue to watch these things over and over and over again and fear them on a continuous basis, there's a real good chance that you're going to get hurt. It may not be in a car crash, but you will probably bring on some kind of pain upon yourself because you're watching these things, you're feeling the emotions of the pain that you see in these programs, or the fears or the happenings or what's going on. That's why in the Bible, Jesus talked about, and I'm not a religious guy, Jesus talked about to think about what is pure, what is lovely, think on these things, because you will draw these things into your life. Are you criticizing? That's something I had trouble with in the past. I was very critical of other people and of myself. I was never good enough. And of course, if I'm never good enough, then I'm projecting that out to the world, and other people aren't good enough either. I'm always finding the fault in other people. Well, guess what? If you find the fault in other people and you continue to focus on faults in other people, what do you think I'm going to demonstrate? I'm going to demonstrate faults. I'm going to be making mistakes. I'm never going to be good enough. I will never be satisfied with anything because I'm criticizing. I'm focusing on lack, and you'll bring lack into your life. Whenever you're criticizing something, you're seeing lack. And think about how ridiculous that is. There is so much abundance in the world. We have been taught lack. Man has created lack. But you say, Mark, look at the people starving in Africa and other parts of the world. Yes, that's true. That's a fact. I don't deny that. But it's not because there's not enough in the world to go around. It's because man, through his greed, has created lack. And thus people die while other people are so overweight They spend billions of dollars a year, I think in the US here, trying to lose weight while people in other countries are starving to death. So there is no lack in the world. There's an abundance for everyone. Now, what are you focusing on? Even people, including myself, I have done this, in the US where we have such an abundant society that 60 to 70% of the people are overweight or obese. In my state, Missouri is one of the most prevalent, the heaviest states in the country out of the 50 states. And I can see it when I go out. Most people are overweight or obese around here. Now, why is that? Because we have such an abundance here and life is so easy that people have become complacent and they don't care for their bodies. They overeat, they indulge themselves, they gorge themselves for the pleasure that the food gives them. There's another verse I like. He who loves pleasure will suffer want. And that's true, whether it's food, sex, alcohol, whatever it happens to be that gives you pleasure. Video games, these things will, if you love pleasure, which means you're constantly pursuing it and experiencing it, you will suffer want, you will suffer pain, you will feel badly. That's why many people who sit around and play video games all day get depressed. They get out of shape. They get overweight. They don't feel good about themselves. They have social anxiety. And you could increase the list ad infinitum about the things they suffer from. There's nothing wrong with pleasure. Pleasure is one of God's gifts, our universal gifts. Okay, but if you love it and you're constantly pursuing it, you don't find fulfillment in pleasure. You find fulfillment in pursuing your goals, your dreams, your visions by staying active. Your body is physical, spiritual, and mental or emotional. You have to attend to all of these. It's amazing. Many people take better care of their cars than they do their bodies. You can always buy a new car. You can't buy a new body. You only have one body. This is your house. You're going to live in it the rest of your life. Take care of it. And that goes back to your thoughts. What are you thinking? How do you see yourself? How do you envision yourself in 5 years? How do you envision yourself now? When you look in the mirror, what do you think about yourself? It's amazing what people think about themselves. You want someone to love you. You want someone to admire you. You want people to respect you. You want people to think you are valuable. Do you think that about yourself? First, you must believe that you are that before other people will perceive you as that. How do you perceive yourself? Very important to remember. What do you think when you look in the mirror? What do you say when you talk about yourself? Think about these things today as you go through your day. Always remember, no one will ever perceive you any different than you first perceive yourself. I hope this has been of help to you. Smash that like button, subscribe, and have a great day.